respected chairman, my elders, dear friends, and officer trainees. First of all, I would extend my heartiest welcome to this function because of the World Forestry Day. Because this particular day, the CITES organization was established. I was happened to be the Assistant Management Authority of India for 4 years to implement CITES. Usually it is an organization for control of illegal international trade on wildlife that eventually helps the conservation of wildlife. Today, I am fortunate to have a discussion on Irrawaddy dolphins. Why I have used the term giggling, I will explain it in the last page of my talk.
Last ko pehle kar do bhai, so that.
But yeah. So Irrawaddy dolphins, this is one of the most endangered species of dolphins available in the world. And this is the only dolphin species which inhabit all types of aquatic ecosystems, starting from rivers, lakes, lagoons, estuaries, and coastal waters. There is no other species of cetacean which inhabit all these ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem. And this particular species, we are fortunate to have at least a sizable population in India. Next slide, please. So before coming to that, cetaceans, there is a group called cetaceans. Usually these are aquatic mammals. They are apex species in the aquatic ecosystem, talk about the lakes, lagoons, the rivers, or the ocean. And next slide, please. And cetaceans are of, mostly we call it whales, dolphins, and porpoise. There are some whales which do not have teeth, but they have baleen. And there are toothed whales, and dolphins have also teeth, and porpoise, they also have teeth, but at that difference of dentition, difference of teeth size. All the whales, except the baleen whales where the plates are there, all the whales, toothed whales, they have tooth just like human beings, the flat, conical shaped. And this particular dolphin, Irrawaddy dolphin, that is have peg-like structures of teeth, and porpoises, they have flat teeth. And there are other differences between whales and dolphins. Whales, they have 2 blowholes for respiration on the dorsal side of the head, but the dolphins, they have 1 blowhole. And there are many other differences of whales and dolphins. I will not elaborate here. And next, when you talk about the cetacean diversity in the world, we have 91 species of whales and dolphins in the world. And in India, we have 32 species. And in Odisha, we have 18 species. About 20% of the global species of whales and dolphins, they inhabit Odisha coast. So out of 18 species, there are 3 baleen whales and 14 toothed whales and dolphins. Only 1 porpoise species is available in Odisha coast, as well as in India, finless porpoise. So the common dolphin species, these are the distribution of dolphins in our Odisha coast. That's starting from the entire coast, from Ganjam to Balasore. And the baleen whales in Odisha, they represent the sei whale, bride's whale, mink whale. Next slide, there are pictures also you can see. The tooth whales we have in Odisha, spotted dolphins, bottlenose dolphins, humpback dolphins, Irrawaddy dolphins, and striped dolphins. Next slide, please. These are whales and dolphins of Odisha. Next. So, then I am coming to my topic, the Irrawaddy dolphins. Why it is called Irrawaddy dolphin? Initially, the skeleton of this particular species was found in the coast of Visakhapatnam before independence, but the live specimens, live dolphins, they are sighted in Irrawaddy river in Myanmar. Because of that particular species were discovered in live in Irrawaddy river in Myanmar, and this particular species of dolphin is called Irrawaddy dolphin. This is one of the most endangered species of dolphins found in the world, and a cetacean species at the crossroads. And we are publishing a book on this. This book will be available after 1 month, because my first PhD student, who is here also, Dr. Mumtaz Khan, we have done research on Irrawaddy dolphin for 6 years. This is the only species, and it's a versatile species, and is considered to be one of the most important aquatic mammals in the world. Next. The morphology I will not discuss in detail. Next. This is a global distribution of Irrawaddy dolphin. There are 12 countries where this particular species is available in rivers, in lakes, in lagoons, and in the coastal waters. And the population of the entire global population is less than 2,000, right? Less than 8,000, 8,000 animals. Next. These are the distribution, country-wise distribution, and the largest population is found in the Sundarbans and the coastal waters of Odisha. Next. This is the population of Irrawaddy dolphin in Odisha for so many years, starting from 2003 to 21-22, and mostly it is stabilized nearing 200. It doesn't mean that our carrying capacity has reached a carrying capacity. Nowadays, everybody is talking about carrying capacity of elephants, carrying capacity of tigers. Carrying capacity, my dear participants and dear trainees, carrying capacity depends on the habitat conditions and availability of prey species. If you develop your habitat, the carrying capacity will automatically increase. Doesn't mean that we have carrying capacity of 2,000 elephants in Odisha. A small state or small national park or sanctuary in South India or in Kaziranga, they can house thousands of elephants. Why not the entire state of Odisha? Because we didn't take care of our habitat, our forest, the fodder plants in the forest, and the prey species in the forest. So when we talk about the carrying capacity depends upon our management efficiency, our management principles, our management output. Carrying capacity is with reference to a time and with reference to a particular space. It is not never a constant figure. So I will not say this is our carrying capacity of Odisha. Odisha has tremendous capacity. Hardly we have, maybe as per my estimation, we have not estimated, as per my estimation is not even 50%. Next. So why you talk about the dolphins at all? Because there are significance, ecological significance, economic significance. Unless otherwise you know why it is so important, we may not be in a position to make our decisions properly, and we are not serious enough to conserve them. There are so many significance, ecological and economic, but most important of them is it's an indicator species, indicator of the aquatic ecosystem, indicator of the fish population, indicator of healthy ecosystem which is non-pollutant, who is not pollution, is moderately free from any pollution. And then this particular species and all species of cetaceans, they help in nutrient recycling and distribution of fishes. And it also helps the fishermen for a better catch of fish. And because it's an apex species, and it indicates many criteria of a healthy ecosystem and provide the condition for survival of many other related species. The first and the economic condition is it provides a lot of employment opportunities through ecotourism. In Chilika, for example, more than 500 families are dependent on dolphin sighting and this ecotourism on dolphins. Next. There are a lot of slides on biology. First, we should know about the animal, then we will be curious enough to conserve them. I have already informed the August House that there is a single blow whale which is left on the left side of the head for respiration purpose, and there are 48 teeth in the particular species that varies from 48 to 72 depending upon the age. They have excellent eyesight. All the dolphins, they have provided two eyes of 360-degree rotation. They can see everything all the time when the eyesight is very strong. Their skeleton is porous and light, so that helps in buoyancy and swimming. And they have two stomachs, one for storage of food, another for digestion and providing energy for the animal. They swallow food, they don't chew food, and 4 to 5 kg of fish every day they require for their sustenance. And they are swimming. The maximum speed is 30 kilometers per hour, but usually on normal conditions they use 4 to 12 kilometers per hour, that is their swimming speed. And their weight is around 150 kg, and their blubber, the fat layer below the skin, that's called blubber in all the cetaceans and all the whales and dolphins, about 15 to 20% weight is by the blubber only. And then they have a very large brain size. All the dolphins and whales are very intelligent, and brain size with reference to the body size is the second next to human beings. And they emit various sounds which are audible. Some of them are audible to human ear, some of them are not audible to human ear. And the hissing sounds, the tail swapping sounds, and you can skip these slides, you can roll on. There are so many slides on biology, I am just summarizing them. Next slide, next slide. So then, but that the sound they are emitting for communicating with each other, that is not audible to us. They emit sonar sounds. They emit high frequency sounds, about 100 to 150 kilohertz sound, and which is not audible to human ear. They communicate with each other, any signals. And usually they live in groups called pods, 7 to 15. Usually their group sizes, they usually move in groups. And they breed throughout the year. They are not monogamous. They give birth to one young or calf in a time. The calf remains with the mother about 1.5 years or 2 years. And the newborn comes out from the mother's body through tail first, and then it remains with the mother at least for 1.5 years, and the mother provides milk for the initial 6 months, 7 months. And the pregnancy period is about 9 to 10 months, just like other primates. It's not primate, but usually the human beings also, they have that sort of a pregnancy period. And then the lifespan of these animals is about 50 years. So this is all about the biology of the animals. Then next, previous slides, the conservation issues. Previous slide. Next, previous slide. So these are the conservation. So once we know about the animal, we know about their significance and importance, what are the issues for conservation? Why you are discussing at all for conservation of Irrawaddy dolphins? Irrawaddy dolphins are happy in their own way. They are not invading the human rights or human life and property. They are innocent animals living quietly inside the water. But the problem is we have destructive fishing practices in the coast, in the lagoons, in the rivers. That is why globally this population, the Irrawaddy dolphin population is declining because of the destructive fishing practices. And then there are some areas globally in some rivers, like Mekong River or Irrawaddy River, there are chemical pollutions. And then polythene pollutions also, because of that, some of the animals, they are not thriving there. Very often there are boat strikes. While we encourage the ecotourism, and there are many a times the boat strikes, and that is because of the injury, the dolphins also, they die. And hunting and poaching is not prevalent in our country, but in other countries, occasionally that is also done. And most important is habitat loss, degradation or modification. All over the world, it's not that in our country like Bhitarkanika, Dr. Kaur was discussing, that almost all wetlands throughout the world, that's either being modified, degraded, or the habitat is gradually losing its character, ecological character. So what are the management options next? So management options, both at the international level, national level, and the state government level, they have taken up. The ICC and the CITES, they have enlisted this species as one of the most endangered species. The wildlife protection also gives the protection, legal protection. CZ has banned for dolphinariums and exhibiting the species. The MOF and CC, the ministry has declared 5th October as the National Dolphin Day to create awareness amongst the public. And then, next. Annually we are monitoring the population like the tigers, elephants and other other wild animals. The monitoring of population is much more important. Know the status, know the distribution, know the population structure of these animals in our coastal waters or the lagoons. For the last several years, we have introduced the underwater acoustic studies because many of the sounds are not audible to human ear. We have hydrophones, which are sophisticated softwares developed by the scientists, which can capture those sounds. And those clicks or sounds of which are emitted by the individual dolphins are different when they communicate each other, when they chase the prey, when they fight together, when they go for pregnancy period, and the stress calls, they are totally different. And because of that, we could know the migration routes, migration season, migration mechanism of these animals. That is more important. But otherwise, many of the population of these dolphins are isolated. That is why it is one of the critically endangered species all over the world.
Dr. Panda, can you
Yes, sir. Just one to
come to the
slide.
giggling part?
Then all these things, these are management options. I am talking about the next. So all these sensitization programs, capacity building programs, protection squads, and then all these sanctuary establishment around Nalvan, everything has been done by the state department, state government. Next. Why I am keeping this thing giggling in the last part of my address, the meaning of giggling. What is the meaning of giggling? Giggling is laughing lightly and repeatedly in an excited, nervous way. So nowadays, all these population of Irrawaddy dolphins, they are laughing. Laughing for what? Laughing at us. They are watching the human beings' nature and character and the actions, and they are becoming nervous. They do not know what is their future, whether they will be allowed to live in the planet or the human beings want to exterminate them and to ask them to vanish from this particular planet. That is why I have given this topic, the giggling Irrawaddy dolphins. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Panda. Can we have one or two questions, please? Nobody. I think your talk was so good. Who?
Irrawaddy dolphin sensors have taken up in two stages. First is visual counting. The area is divided into separate blocks using the DGPS line, and each and every the group who will take up direct sensors, they will be briefed because the dolphins, they come out of water every 6-7 minutes for respiration. During that period, you can count the dolphins. You can count the dolphins having a particular distance, about 20 meters, 50 meters, just sitting quietly. You can count the dolphins when they resurface for respiration. And the groups, they move in a parallel direction in the same time, and then the duplications are avoided at the time of screening because the distance, the DGPS location, and the timing, and we refine the data. That is the visual counting of dolphins. The second most scientific method of counting is using hydrophones. Hydrophones are stored in the boat. Even if they don't come out of the surface, you can identify the group because the young ones, adults, females, male, they have different clicks, different wavelengths of emitting sounds. And within water, the hydrophones can detect, okay, this group is 7, that group is 10. And then again, we sit together, the group again, the core group, and we define the population. What is the population? So both the methods are employed. Earlier, we do not have the facility and privilege of using hydrophones. For last 10 years, with the tie-up with the Tokyo University and the IIT Delhi, we have this method also we are being tried, and both of them are complementary or supplementary, you can say.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
What is the sex ratio? What is the male-female ratio out of 200 dolphins we
Yes,
have?
sir, mostly the 200 dolphins were never having a sex ratio calculation, but Chilika Lagoon, it's about 50, 60, 40, 60 females and 40 males, around that. But other things we have never attempted to do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Now we have come to the last